All right, so we gave you the earlier headline, though, that President Trump said he still can't say, even though we're just days away from a partial government shutdown, whether there will be a government shutdown. So as it looms, we are figuring out that we better game this option from both sides of the aisle. So we bring in Justin Bogie. He is former budget policy advisor to Donald Trump's presidential campaign, and Seth Hanlon, former special assistant to President Obama for economic policy. Guys, thank you for joining me. Justin, I would like to begin with you. The major development isn't so much that perhaps the Democrats are saying, you know what, we might be able to make a deal with the GOP and we might have a continuing resolution, but rather that the White House says it's rethinking the president's announcement just last week that he would own a government shutdown. What do you think sparked the turnaround at the White House, Justin?
Well, I think there's a couple of factors there, partially political pressure, but, I don't think it's in anyone's best interest or desire to see the government shut down here. So I think that's probably part of it, and the president certainly fashions himself as a deal maker. So I think this is another opportunity for him to hopefully get something he wants out of this, and for the Democrats to be able to walk away and not feel terrible about it either.
You recently, Justin, penned an op-ed saying, quote, that a government shutdown isn't as scary as you think. Explain that. I know this is a partial government shutdown, but if this does come to pass midnight Friday, TSA agents, the new, airport screeners wouldn't be paid, and even some of the president's own Secret Service agents might not immediately be paid. I would think that's pretty scary.
Well, again, it's not a good outcome by any means. But in terms of the everyday lives of Americans, their safety, their security, it's not going to be impacted by this directly. If you're one of the 800,000 federal employees out there who's not sure when you're going to get your next paycheck, then certainly that causes discomfort and anxiety. But border control, TSA agents over the holidays, all of those things would continue even under a shutdown.
Well, Seth, let me get to what the Democrats will and won't do. They will not compromise on the $5 billion for the border wall. What will they give wiggle room on? What do you think happens here Friday?
Look, I think there's plenty of room for a deal, and they're very close to a deal. There's really only one obstacle left, and it's the one the president highlighted last week. He's demanding his border wall. He's demanding the money for the border wall, and there simply aren't the votes in Congress for it. The American people don't want it. He said Mexico was going to pay for it, and I think he just needs to realize that he's not going to get the funding for the border wall. It seems like the latest offer that he put on the table essentially gave himself a $1 billion, what's essentially a slush fund to pay for the border wall. So I think it sounds like he's coming around to his senses, starting to accept reality slowly, but hopefully we'll give up on this demand for the border wall so we don't have a shutdown right before the holidays.
Okay, so due to breaking news, we do have to wrap it here, but let me just get Justin on the record. Do we have a shutdown Friday night?
I think it's anyone's guess right now. There's a fairly good chance, but hopefully we'll work something out and be able to avoid that.
Seth, you agree?
No, I think the president will find a way to save face and not shut the government down for his wall.
Good to see both of you, Justin Bogie and Seth Hanlon. We'll have you back. Thank you so much on a very busy day, folks.